Hey y'all, it's the end of another year, and, well, it's not the only thing that'll be ending. Don't worry, my channel isn't going anywhere, but I've been thinking about the potential for the future of these monthly roundups, and have ultimately landed on ending them after this video. I've genuinely enjoyed writing them and putting them out there, but I also want to focus a little less on new music this year, and can't really justify putting the work toward these any longer. The good news is that I have some more exciting possible projects toward which I want to put my energy in this upcoming year, but yeah, this will be the last of the monthly roundup series anyway. Helps that it's been yet another sleepy December in releases anyway, so let's just gather up whatever we got for this hand-picked selection of tracks and singles from December 2024. Found a little baby under the dust. So here's one of the coolest things I've come across in this year's 11th hour. This artist is one Angel Deradoorian, who is best known through her collaborations with a number of projects, notably Dirty Projectors. She's also dabbled in her own solo work and has an album coming out sometime next year. I hadn't heard anything else before Digital Gravestone, but, well, I'm already sold. I really love the dark and deep sound of this, with that steady bass groove holding the track together as brief interludes of synth, guitar, and even saxophone paint their pictures across the canvas. And that's to say nothing of Deradoorian herself, who commands the track entirely. The beat she creates here is so ungodly catchy. It was latched onto my brain from the very first listen. I don't know when this album's coming out, but I'll definitely be anticipating more of the sound, for sure. I first encountered Miya Folick back in 2023. Her music never wowed me or anything, but Get Out of My House was a nice, upbeat, casual tune I gave quite a few plays to back then. She has a new album coming out soon, which more closely examines her experience as a queer woman in a heteronormative society, and you can definitely see more than a few hints of this in Erotica. The sound is really soft and sensual, but with a steady backing of guitar strums that instills a power behind the words she sings. And yes, it's practically too gay to function as well, but as invested with the spiritual power behind queer desire as it is the physical components of such. It's a nice song, and I'm looking forward to hearing more of this particular sound from her. I've had a pretty strange relationship with English band The Horrors. I first stumbled upon them way back in high school, when the gothic garage rock stylings of their early material would have hit the hardest for me. And yet, once they made that sharp pivot to more psychedelic shoegazy material in the early 10s, I moved on to other ventures, and only rediscovered and appreciated those albums years later. Now they've got a new record coming in 2025, and from the sound of it, it seems like they're leaning even further into the electronica parts of their sound, as Lotus Eater sounds like a full-on synthwave single. I'll admit that there is much to be desired here, as the melodic backbone of this feels half-formed, as does the muted rhythms and barely there lyrical conceits. It's a vibes record more than anything else, but much like the band's own storied career, it does take some compelling changes in direction across its 7-minute runtime, leading to a climax that is strangely pleasing in its evident coldness. All things considered, this is a pretty solid sign of things to come, and I'm excited to see what else these guys have for us. Just like The Horrors, Thursday is yet another band I've been well aware of since high school, although they're also a band I completely pushed to the side until a re-examination of my emo era a couple years ago. We were gifted with their first song in 13 years a few months ago, and now we have another one that I think is even better. Inspired by a loss of a friend of theirs, White Bikes is defined by its rather mournful guitar tone, across a mid-tempo stride and melodic guitars that nonetheless continue to pummel against the emotional wails of this tune. It's clear that the very rough, angular tones of their past material are long gone, and the edges here have been much more smoothed down. But, well, it's also fitting with the fact that these guys are aging rockers, far past the inconsequential fierceness that made up so much of their earlier stuff. On the contrary, there's this very potent gravitas behind the song as it plays, and along with it, a deal of sentimentality not often heard in their work. It's an unexpectedly beautiful piece of work, one that has me all that more anticipatory for what the future of this band holds.
There's something on your plate. You wish it was more than you could take.
I gotta admit, slacker rock has been one of the toughest genres for me to get fully invested in. Nonetheless, I decided to check out the latest single from Chicago collective Horsegirl, and, well, this is a different kind of slacker rock for sure. The, slackness is still there, but the guitars feel much more mechanical, given even greater body by the various sonic textures outlining them. Additionally, the melody to Julie is about as sparse as I was expecting, but the song builds upon itself in such a way that we get a surprising sentimentality that undeniably keeps me invested through the whole run. And while the mood stays casual, there's also a notable strand of melancholia that runs through the whole thing, which is not something I usually expect from the genre. All things considered, it's still not really something I'd usually go for, but I greatly enjoyed it nonetheless. I'll always appreciate little surprises like these coming across my radar. Check it out. And finally, it's the dog. I was quite a fan of Fat Dog's debut album from earlier this year, though I do think it was a bit underweight for how much I was anticipating it. I get the sense that this band has a lot more up their sleeve, which they're simply waiting for the right time to unleash onto the world. And, well, now they have a new song, which all but confirms my suspicions. Peace Song is a bit of a different undertaking for the band, less enamored with the intense dance punk they're mainly known for, and more steeped into an easygoing slice of synthy pop rock, with poppy percussion and wide melodic sweeps, not unlike the work of Twin Shadow or Future Islands. And though this pivot is a tad jarring, it's really satisfying to hear that they're able to shift into gears just a tad bit more pensive than usual. The lyrics speak on the oft-referenced topic of the world's end and one simply trying to hold on while everything falls apart on the outside, and, well, yeah, considering the year we've had, I'd say that this is the perfect kind of song to transition into the next. Learn from what we've done in the past and hope to rebuild something better this next trip around the sun. It's the best we mortals can do, after all. Good song, anyway. And that's all for now. I want to thank everyone who has checked out this series at any point these past 2 years. Where we go from here is up in the air, but I hope to make it good for y'all in any case. As always, take care, and I'll see you next time.